Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and goblins. I hope you're having a great day and thank you for taking the time to join me here for a daily trade review. This is a great day, a fantastic Monday, as we have on our bottom screen here the S&P 500 15-minute or I guess even 30-minute chart I'm on here. It doesn't necessarily matter. You could even go to the 1 hour, I suppose. But a downtrend breakout, right, where we see the market sell off on that tariff news, and then we kind of have our first rejection showing us that downtrend, and then the third is a massive rejection off that again, and even the fourth, is aware of itself, right? But we have that breakthrough happening here this morning, so let's see if we can challenge all-time high again or that buy side liquidity, as I'm sure we will. The market's been so strong as of late, so it makes sense that the pullback or retracement isn't too aggressive, and we're right back to where we were. It doesn't mean something can't happen again to bring us back, on that macro news, but until it does, we have to act accordingly. And it's just like we do every downtrend breakout that we have. You can see one there, and there's another one here, which was really aggressive, right? And then this is like a little bit of a nicer one, right? But just downtrend breakout after downtrend breakout, always leading to new highs every single time, right? So nothing new. This one was like really aggressive. Some of these sell-offs are disgusting. So this one wasn't really as bad, and I think a large portion of that is just because of how strong the market is as a whole. Every single day, no matter what happens, it's another green bar. So this was long overdue. It's good to get it out of the way, and I think clear sailing from here, as long as we can kind of maintain these levels and reclaim all-time highs, right? So aside from that, we've got some big news today. GSI Technologies, ticker GSIT, announcing GPU class AI performance at a fraction of the energy cost. So 98% lower energy consumption versus the GPUs, comparing against the NVIDIA A6000, which is a pretty popular card for the AI workloads or whatever. So there are some restrictions here. However, it shows that there is some technology here that may not necessarily be utilized to its fullest potential within the industry, and that sets this company up, to have a stake being taken out in its common shares, most likely from NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA is going to stake in this company. I don't know, 10%, 15%, whatever it happens to be. Maybe, or they just acquire it entirely. I don't know. It could be a buyout. But these are bullish factors. So this is just getting so much volume today. And we were in this early because, I'm always online, chronically so. And we see the volume or the news pop, right in the morning, 7 o'clock, 5 a.m. Eastern, of course. And, I say, okay, that's interesting, right? This is interesting news. But then it holds, right? And continues to hold and clicks up on low volume. Now, I know you can't see it here, but there was some volume going on, right? And then so we get in on this, right? We're like, okay, that's good news. We can, jump in, put our stop loss below this swing low, right? Because we have a VWAP reclaim, and that's where we're entering on. Like, it's kind of a sloppy entry, but this is my entry model that I like with a news pop or a news play. You see the news come out, you get this big green bar, right? And then the second bar or third bar, like right after it, you'll kind of see it break down from VWAP, which it did just barely. And that's, again, a sign as to the strength of it, right? Because if the breakdown's not aggressive, that means it's strong. Sometimes the breakdown comes down to an EMA, right? And if you've paid attention to all these videos, you'll understand, because this is like 80% of what I do. But then you enter in on the reclaim of VWAP, which we have immediately in the next bar, and even just that bar itself, but you got to wait for it to open and close above, which we have here, right? And then again and again. So, here's our entries right here. Stop loss below that swing low, right? That's, the whole thing. And then we scalp it up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which happens immediately because we are in so early before the volume hit, right? We understand how important data centers are, right? We understand how prevalent AI is in today's market. And when you say you can do that at, like, they're talking about using nuclear energy to power these data centers, which is insane, right? So if you can reduce that energy requirement substantially, that is massive. So we understand that the news is potentially groundbreaking. We get our scalps up into the volume, and we're out immediately, like fourth bar into this, because it just clicks up because we're in so early. However, we let that digest, because when the news hits, you have to make these snap decisions. And now I've had an hour and a half to think about it, right, and kind of formulate this thesis or whatever, right? But then it holds view up, expands off of it, and we are trying to now enter in again, because I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, this is really good. Look how this, because when we were entering here, there was no volume in comparison to the volume that was found after we were basically out of the trade already, right? We were out of the trade before any of this volume hit, right? So we want to get in on that again, as close to VWAP as we can, right? Not perfect entries, I'll admit, but it is what it is. Our stop loss is below VWAP, and we get our entry, and then scale out 1-to-1, holds the 21, holds VWAP, which is crazy strong, and then the rest is history here. And we get another 5-to-1 risk reward off of re-entries, which is crazy. So from our original entries, 220% to the high. We are selling off now, a bit of a downtrend here, but we've got runners left. And we can just set that stop loss under VWAP and, see how far these runners can go over the last, few percentage points of our trade. As this is potentially a multi-day swing at this point, right? The news is substantial, and kind of as I early stated earlier today, Junior, that we could see some big buys by maybe NVIDIA or any of the semiconductor companies really that are focused on the AI infrastructure. So pretty cool news. And then, we'll see that come out on, NVIDIA's future report, I would assume, and at which point this stock price will explode. So getting in early, scalping out, taking out the majority of our profits, and then leaving the last bit of runners for as long as we can. And maybe we have them forever and we never sell them. That could be a thing as well, right? So we'll just move that stop loss up as we go. And, I did kind of regret how early we scaled out on this. But, you got to stick to your principles, and that is what it is. But letting that digest a little bit more, getting in on it with a new entry model, remanaging our risk, right? Not keeping this as our risk. And then doing the same thing with a plan to reduce that seller's remorse, right? To hold those runners even past your 5-to-1. So that's what we're doing here. But it's not all big winners here today. We have some losers to talk about as well, which, this isn't one, but we do have one on the list. IOBT, this came out, and when GSIT came out, all the volume just came away. So this was looking really good, but then, that other news comes out, and it's just like, okay, all the volume is going to go there instead. So this just basically dies. What happened here? Phase 3 results for melanoma, which is cancer, I guess, right? So cancer, autoimmune, Alzheimer's. Those are my big three that, I just play those. If there's a setup, I'll take it. And we have that setup here, right, where with a news pop, breaks down from VWAP here, reclaims here. So there's our entry. Our stop loss is below the breakdown, right? Get that 1-to-1. And then this one's kind of messy. Like, you could have got stopped out here. I always say it's got a stopper close below. It doesn't, and I guess this is kind of misaligned. This should be a little bit lower. It doesn't do that, but I understand the importance of managing your risk. So if you took a stop loss here, that's fine as long as you got out here early. If you didn't, that's still kind of a bummer, specifically because it ran back after. But this, and that goes to show you it's not all GSIT 5-to-1s and then beyond. Sometimes you got to fight for the 1-to-1, the 2-to-1. And that's why we're scaling out on those every single time, right? Just acting in accordance so we can approve upon that. So this, it died down. It's not doing much here. BYND had some news Friday, right? They were doing some stuff here. And then it gapped up this morning on, it's like a high short interest play, right? I don't eat vegetarian burgers, but I guess some people probably do. I don't think the climate is right for this currently, but follow the volume and, maybe this could be like a long-term reversal, right? Because we're at all-time lows here. Like this is low as it goes. So, we'll keep it on and, potential short squeeze candidate. You gotta, like, there's a lot of work to do here. It's, it's one thing to say, okay, we're filling the gap. That's great. I don't want to play. Because it's bad, right? It's not good. Rejecting the gap this morning. So maybe if you break into the gap at $1, you can swing this up to $2, fill the gap. And then there's another one here, which is gross as well. That didn't necessarily fill. The consequent encroachment got filled. And typically that's where you go, see, all gaps fill, all gaps fill. Well, they re-enter. They don't all fill perfectly. The consequent encroachment, or CE of the gap, is typically what I aim for as a gap fill, but to each their own, of course. So maybe this could be a play into the future. Just eyes on, right? REPL is doing some stuff this morning. FDA acceptance of BLA resubmission of RP1 for the treatment of advanced melanoma. So melanoma theme this morning a little bit, right? And this is a large market cap in comparison to IOBT, which is kind of what I was trying to play that earlier, where you see there's more room for growth in a smaller market cap, right? Cattail. You guys want to meet my cat? Meow. I don't want to get clawed to death. She says, I am the streamer now. So yeah, the smaller market cap has more room for growth, right? However, the larger market cap indicates more strength in the company, just because it's a better company, right? So it's less likely to experience a sell-off, which we kind of did see IOBT do, right? So this is just, again, up and consolidating because it's so much harder to move. It takes a lot of inflow in comparison. And then AZTR. She's on the keyboard. Selling off as well here at 2 million market cap. I guess easy come, easy go is a good way to think of it. High risk, high reward. News pop, VWAP breakdown. Here's the reclaim. Here's our entry with the stop loss below that the swing low of the breakdown, right? It's the same thing. I told you 80% of the time, this is what I'm doing. A very nice morning entry model to play off of the news pops. Get our 1-to-1, get our 2-to-1, easy peasy, 3-to-1, it breaks down. And that's because we just had, again, that volume hog come into play. And what else would ever compete with that, right? And then FGNX was our loser. And this is on me, but we can talk about this here. Uh-oh, we bought the very top of it, did you? I'm a FOMO sapien, okay? But so here's the problem is for me, I see 5 million market cap here, right? And I also see on the news, we've got a 200 million share buyback program. That's extensive. If that company is worth 6 million and you're buying 200 million worth of it, to the moon we go, right? However, sometimes your data is wrong, chat. Sometimes your data is wrong. Market cap 130 million, which changes things substantially, right? People see this, they're like, oh yeah, we're doing it. But then they realize the truth of the matter and it fades away. Doesn't mean that this won't see price improvement in the following days as maybe a potential swing, but it's not the volume imbalance that I'm looking for, right? It's, low daily average, and now they're going to be buying 200 million shares. Like that would be a lot of volume for this stock. But it's not that. It's not that. So it is what it is. And then we talked about our SPY downtrend, and then GSIT as a potential multi-day swing here off of, I would assume there's going to be like an NVIDIA stake revealed at some point, maybe in the following days. We have price targets revealed. All of the agencies who do that, so the scam agencies, they'll let all the institutions are going long today, and then they'll, tomorrow or later on in the week, they'll say, hey, we upgraded this price target of the company we follow from, 15 to 40. And then that'll cause another wave of buying. And then NVIDIA will be like, hey, we bought 30% of the company or whatever. And then that's another wave of buying. And you should be selling into those waves if you can, with zero risk, because we already entered early on based of, our news entry model, easy peasy, and then our greed entry model. But it is what it is. We typically wouldn't do that without some substantial catalyst, which we see here today. So let's see how this plays out in the following days. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. And of course, the GameStop videos will be out post-market close, or if I'm kind of lazy in the afternoons, because I get up pretty early to do this shenanigans every day. Maybe I'll get it out tomorrow morning, right? But either way, looking forward to seeing you then. Take care, and yeah, peace out.